Hey there, it's you once again. I wanna welcome back everyone to another movie review, and this time I'm gonna talk about RoboCop 2. And this is gonna be a review on RoboCop 2, which is very underrated in my opinion, just like Predator 2. But RoboCop 2 is underrated sci-fi action flick, and I'm actually gonna defend this film, not that much, but I think it's a decent, solid film. I mean, it's underrated, ultra-violent, rated R sci-fi action movie. You know, it's RoboCop with RoboCane, and I love this movie to death. This is actually the first film I saw. You know, this is the first film I saw as a kid. Before I even saw about the original, I saw this one first. You know, and this the finale. The finale is a badass. And I know that this movie came out, it was a flop because people wasn't expecting different than from the first movie. And RoboCop to me is definitely one of my favorite films of all time. It's not on top 10, but it's definitely out there with my favorite. It's violent, it's action, you know, it's sci-fi. It's different than, it's actually because it's not a heart like it did the first one, you know. The movie did have problems. The studio, because the first movie was so hit, you know, Ryan wanted immediately the sequel because the first one saw such a hit. And they asked Paul Verhoeven to return, but he said no because he never did the sequels. He's not sequel material, and he didn't want to do a sequel at first. But they needed this film, you know, it was needed that much. You know, they wanted to do a sequel, and they needed to do a sequel. So they hired Irvin Kershner instead, you know, who directed Star Wars, the Empire Strikes Back, you know, in 1980. And I think that movie is a classic. And I think the RoboCop 2 was his last film. It was very underrated. He reviewed that remake with Sean Connery, Never Say Never Again, and he did a good job. And I think this movie is really underrated. And sadly, Irvin Kershner passed away. It was his last movie, and does not deserve to be hated. You know, and to me, it's an ultra-violent, action-rated R film. It's a badass action film, the RoboCop trilogy. And this is the only sequel that I like. And they wanted to do now RoboCop Returns, and they ignore this movie. This fucking badass, you know, this movie which I don't get why is this movie so underrated, but or why is RoboCop 3 or remake better than this, you know? I don't get it. I don't get it, you know. I understand that, and I never will. I mean, is this good as the first movie? No. It's not better than the first film. The first movie does have a heart, but this movie, to me, you know, it's a worthy sequel. It's a badass. It's a kick-ass, you know. This is entertaining action film of all time. It's rated R. It's rated R+. It's R. It's not PG-13 like was the third one that was actually a fucking flop, you know. And I do wish this movie would came out in the summer. I do wish, you know, I do really miss this kind of action movies nowadays, you know. RoboCop 3 and RoboCop remake are not and will never be better than the sequel. I grew up watching this movie. It defines my childhood. This film was my first of the trilogy before I even watched the original, you know. I was entertaining here that we have RoboCop with RoboCane, monstrous robot who is addicted to drugs. He has a mass machine guns, annihilation, people, blowing up cars, blowing up cop cars, killing cops, you know, vans, ambulance, killing news people. The big battle between RoboCop and RoboCane, which is fantastic, you know. It's rated R, it's not PG-13, you know, it's violent, it's action, gore, and adrenaline sci-fi flick. It's not for kids, you know. I'm defending my favorite sequel that has Peter Weller and Nancy Allen for the last time in it. You know, I don't want to see Robert John Burke or even Joel Kinnaman that sucks dick in the whole movies, you know. I love this movie to death. The end is the best at all. The end was the best one, you know. And in this movie, RoboCop jumps on the back of a monster that's addicted to a robot, rips his brains out, smashes in the ground, in the pulp, into the pieces, you know, and says goodbye. You know, and in the third one, he got his ass kicked in the third one. This movie, he jumps a monstrous robot, you know, addicted to drugs, RoboCop. He jumps at him, you know, and he rips his brain out, smashes in the ground with the pulp, you know. He did not do it in the third one, and he did not do jack shit in the remake. But in this movie, he did. And this is also another 30 years anniversary. And just like Predator 2, which they both got so much hate, you know, so much crap. It wasn't like people expected. Came out the same year. And RoboCop 2 is a badass action film. Kick-ass, ultra sci-fi action film of all time. I enjoyed this film. You know, because people, there's this kid, Hop in it. I think it's Damon, I'm trying to find him, what is his name? The actor who played Hop, because I don't remember the character, the actor. It's I think I can't find him. Gabriel Damon. You know, I don't remember the actor who played Hop. But when I watched The Predator 2018 last night, it was a fucking torture. And when I watched this film with Gabriel Damon as Hop, because people are complaining because he's a kid and because he's a violent kid, or because he's running a drug operation with Kane, played by Tom Noonan, and they're complaining, or because some kids are violent in this film, or they're dragging a drugstore, those baseball kids, you know, they're complaining about this film. Watch the fucking Predator 2008. That motherfucker ruined. I hated that fucking kid. Hated that guy, Jacob Tremblay or whatever. I hated him so much in that film. I would rather watch this film. I prefer this film. This film. Gabriel Damon as Hop. I prefer this kid. I would rather watch this kid. Now watch this film. Have fun. Watch this film. You know, because Gabriel Damon to me did a great job as Hop. He was a decent. He was likable. I liked his character. I don't care what he did. He was better. Unlike that motherfucking prick Jacob Tremblay in that piece of shit Predator fucking 2008 movie. You know, I would watch this kid. This kid is a competent actor. This kid knows how to act. You know, not the son of a bitch, Jacob Tremblay, who played that warrior, that asshole, whatever. I hated Predator 2018. I'd rather watch this motherfucker. This movie. This is a badass action movie of all time. You know, underrated, hell yes. It's a good one. It's a damn good one, in my opinion. You know, I know everyone is not for it. You know, I know people does not like RoboCop 2. I got it. You know, it's not your cup of tea or movie. I got it. But to me, it's an ultra sci-fi action film, and I love that. I love this film to death. I don't give a shit what anyone says. You know. And yeah, like I said, the movie is actually about Portal Weller returns, you know, the last time as a cybernetic law enforcement officer RoboCop, who now battles even more sadistic gang led by the ranch killer known as Kane, played by Tom Noonan, and while Omega Corporation, Only Consume Products, prepares to take private ownership of Detroit and unveil a new, more powerful law enforcement unit. And this time RoboCop has to fight they want to replace him. They are looking for a new. They're actually looking for a new replacement for RoboCop 2 because they want a new cyborg. And this woman, the scientist Belinda Bauer, who plays Juliet Fox, you know, for Omni Consumer Products. She wants to build another cyborg, and she's looking for criminals. And when Kane gets stopped by RoboCop, you know, she gets him killed, and she gets him killed, and he goes and she turns him into a RoboCop, and RoboCop goes into action in which. Because the Detroit city is now bankrupt, and the mayor Cusack, you know, he has to pay the debt. I think $100,000, or was it more? I definitely think it was $100,000 because they don't have that much money to pay, and they try to save the city because Omniconsum Brothers has the man to destroy the Detroit, because they're built in Delta City, which is going to be a complex. They're going to build all the houses, and Major Cusack does not want to allow that, but he's in debt and can't pay. So so RoboCop goes to take out the gang, and to take his old gang, and to wipe out Hop and wipe out Major Cusack, you know, to prevent that they're gonna save that city by repaying the debt, you know, and he kills everyone. Which that is to me badass. He goes and kills Angie, that sex girl, you know, she was a girlfriend to Galen York, you know, as Angie. She was so sexy, hot babe. You know, she was addicted to drugs. And I love Hop and Angie when they escape. You know, I love this motherfucker movie. I will always watch this film so much because it's so great. Because I love it. This is a badass. This, you know, RoboCop, you know, fires cops are firing RoboCop. They're firing him. You know, the finale is the best one. I love this movie so much. You know. And I miss movies like that, you know. To me, it's a prototypical good action movie, you know. I'm an action junkie. It's good prototypical action movie, intense, perfectly executed, original action, shows to the tune, unforgettable and occasional insulting story. It's not a rip-over copy of the first movie, you know. And yes, it has problems because Daniel who plays the old man, is now mean. He's not like he was nice in the first movie, but so what? You know. And I love Johnson. I love him so much, you know, Phantom Perry, you know. And I would definitely give this film, I think, 8 of... I will give 8 of 10, you know, 4 stars of 5, definitely. And the gunplay is delivered in perfect Miller style, you know. Frank Miller wrote the script for this movie. It was directed by Irvin Kershner, who did a complete badass job. And Frank Miller wrote this movie, who gave us Sin City, which I love Sin City. And because it's different, they get hate on the film, which I don't get it, you know. And the gunplay, you know, it's perfectly Miller style. You see lots of heavy automatic and explosive weapons, and you see them use well. The film is bloody. You can see how the gang cuts RoboCop to the pieces, and it's bloody. It has gore. You know, RoboCop is cut to pieces. That's blood. It's gore. You know, it's really crazy. You know, there was the kid cop in the film, and no, to me he was annoying. Jacob Tremblay was annoying. I hated Jacob Tremblay. I love Hop. You know, I love him in this movie. You know, and I love the scene in which RoboCop shoot a guy in the eye. He shoot him in the eye. You know, a sniper. He shoot in the eye. Bang. You know, they don't do in RoboCop 3. He didn't jack shit. In the remake, he fucked up and didn't do a fucking jack shit. You know, but this movie, he shot a guy in the eye. A sniper in the eye. He shot. You know, and they complain how crap and garbage this movie is. I disagree. This is a badass. To me, you know, to you, it's probably the bad one. To me, it's a badass. I love this movie more than anything, you know. And yeah, do I think it has problems? Sure, it has problems. No movie is fucking perfect, you know. And Nancy Allen as Lewis return, and she has much to do. Like, she drives an armored SWAT van. This van she drives, and they used in Die Hard. In which they use in Die Hard, smashes into RoboCop, you know. She shoots 3 bad guys, she kicks ass. You know, RoboCop says a baby. You know, RoboCop says a baby, and the guy says, I want to go new, and he shoots him. You know. Or when some SWAT guy tries to grab Nancy Allen, she kicks in the face, and she drives this van, and she smashes into RoboCop, and she crashes in RoboCop, and RoboCop flips over the van, the SWAT van. They use the same SWAT van that was used in Die Hard. You know, Die Hard, they use this van. You know, this is SWAT van. They don't use those SWAT vans anymore, guys. You know. And I don't mind the music score from Leonard Rosenman. I know they should use the original score from Basil Polidoris, but they used Leonard Rosenman for this film. And I don't mind the score, and I don't mind the score. A lot of people complain for this score. I don't mind the score. It's a good score, They should use the Basil Polidoris music score, but they use different music score, and I never minded. I thought it's an okay song. I'm not gonna complain about it. This film was directed by Irvin Kershner, and from a story was written by noted graphic novelist Frank Miller, and Irvin Kershner did an excellent job directing the sequel. Rest in peace, Irvin Kershner. I really miss the director, but he never directed the sequels before, and this was his second sequel and got bombed, because it came out 30 years ago, and seriously. And like I said, Hollywood needed a sequel, and they hired Irvin Kershner, and this is his last movie. And it's a little shame he's no longer with us anymore, They don't make movies like this one today. I wish I would have sci-fi action movies like this one today. I really wish. This is a solid damn sequel that has an action scenes, While RoboCop 2014 has no action scenes, they can't afford it. So it's a PG-13 rated film. It's a PG-13 rated film. I have the RoboCop 3 on Blu-ray, but I have not the remake because it fucking sucked. I have this movie on Blu-ray. Screw RoboCop 3 or whatever, and the remake. I will watch this movie ever again. Anytime, anywhere I will watch this movie, just like Predator 2, which I defended, And I love this, I love action movies. This is an action movie, that's how you do it right. It's Tom Noonan, a better bad guy than Kevin Smith? No. But he does an excellent job as the evil bad guy, and he's a cult leader, He's not better than Kurtwood Smith, because Tom Noonan wasn't so popular like was Kurtwood Smith as the guy, Clarence J. Boddicker. Because Clarence Boddicker was a badass, he was popular. I definitely know you will want to party with him. But Tom Noonan was a damn badass. He was fucking scary, Watch when they cut this cop, and the search doctor says you shouldn't do it in front of the kid, and the cop was laughing. They cut him, and then she said you just say you're gonna scare him, and Tom Noonan says, isn't he scared? And he gets cut. They cut him. That's bloody. It has the gore as well. And to me, Kane was a decent villain, special Robo Kane. The design for Robo Kane was better than Law Enforcement at 209. Of course not. But Robo Kane to me was a badass, badass, and seriously. I know Peter Weller and Nancy Allen were both disappointed with when this movie came out, with how the movie was, and they don't care about this movie. Peter Weller said that he did a lot of movies that he's not happy, but RoboCop is one of the films that he's happy. I know he's not happy with this film, but honestly, it was a pretty damn good entertainment. I wasn't bored with it. I will be proud on this movie. It's a good continuation of RoboCop story. There's nothing new here, but it's well executed. In the end, it's one of those rare Sci-Fi sequels. They do their own stuff. They don't copy the original film, just like Predator 2 did not copy the original film. They do their own stuff, and I love that. Sue me, but I love RoboCop 2. I give it 8/10. It doesn't deserve the hate, and it wasn't. And like Rambo 3, Missing in Action, Cobra, Predator 2, Blade Trinity, The Matrix Revolutions are so fun underrated action films that are getting so much hate and bash this for it. That's horrible. I still love them, But again, and I love this film to death. I grew up watching this film. I watched it on VHS the first time, I think was in 1994. I saw this film, the first one. And I enjoyed it. And what I love is that RoboCop let go his wife, thank God. He does not need a fucking wife because he's a RoboCop. He's a badass. He's a kick-ass cyborg, and he's gonna do to prevent anything to stop the drug gang, you know. Just like the Running Man, you know, you see the great limousine and great project, you know. Too bad they killed off on Bob Morton. I would love to see him, but he's not in this movie, you know. And yeah, and like I said, RoboCop also shoots the sniper in the eye, you know. Yes, he shoots him in the eye. This is a badass scene, you know. He shoots him in the eye, like I mentioned. It's my favorite scene, you know. And RoboCop is fastest robot I have ever seen. I mean, Lewis is driving a SWAT car that was also in Die Hard and smashes in the van, smashes with the van in RoboCop. You know, there's a lot of firepower and thousands of rounds been fired in this movie. Came out the same year as Predator 2 and Die Hard 2, and even those two movies get scrapped nowadays and hate for it. Why is this movie bad? Kids are violent in this movie? This rated R, it's only for an adult people watching the film, not kids if you don't get it, you know. And like I said, I would rather watch this movie than any new movie nowadays because because it's so great, you know, it's so violent, super violent action, you know, and I just don't get it, you know, like everything that all the hate gets and so much, you know. But I love RoboCop 2 to that, and definitely I love that. I love that RoboCop on the finale, you know, he annihilates with machine guns everyone. You know, he has a mass machine guns, annihilation, you know, people blowing up cars, up cop cars, killing cops, you know, Vance ambulance, killing news people. You know, the big battle between RoboCop and RoboCop on the finale is fantastic. I love the future. I love how it is designed, you know. I love everything about this film. This is a kick-ass film. You know, I would rather watch this film than any other shit movies nowadays like RoboCop 3, you know. It's to me, it's action, it's gore, it's adrenaline. You know, it's a sci-fi flick, and I love that. It's 1 hour 57 minutes long, but Peter Weller is the last time he played in RoboCop, you know. He played the cyborg Alex J. Murphy. And I know in the first movie he get the remain of his humanity, and he was called Murphy. But who gives a shit? He's called RoboCop in this movie, you know. In the opening scene, there's a guys who blow up a store, and you see that old van, and RoboCop shoots them and says take over, and says where are the drugs, where are they, you know. And I love that because now it's this drug, the nuke, which is which this gang, you know, Kane is actually manufacturing, and RoboCop wants to stop him. His biggest enemy is Kane in this film. Kane and Angie and Hop, which are great to me, you know. And the cops are now striking, you know. They're just like in the first movie, they predicted they're gonna strike, and they do. They strike, except Alex Murphy and this guy, his partner Nancy Allen and Lewis. They don't strike. The rest of the cops are striking because Obnicosum Brothers, they took them their paychecks, you know. The payments, they took them away, you know. The pay salary, they took their pay salary away, you know. So yeah, that's what it was in RoboCop 2, and they strike, but RoboCop didn't. His biggest enemy was always Kane. He goes alone in the factory, you know, just like he's solo in the first movie. He goes alone in the factory, but he gets set up. Because one of the cops tell him where Kane and his gang are hiding. He goes and his car gets blown to pieces. It's a practical explosion. And he goes to this factory. But he gets killed, his arm gets blown off by Angie. This hand gets cut off, you know. And she throws something at him. You know, but he used it and he smashed it, and the woman falls down, and RoboCop then gets hit by electromagnetic pulse, you know, and they cut him to pieces. And now they try to build him and give him, in the Omniconsult projects, they give him this fucking drug, you know, his fucking program, which fucking sucks. They give him a fucking program, you know, and he acts like a lunatic. And there's like kids who wrote him, kick me, and says, you're nuts. Or the kid says to RoboCop, fuck a refrigerator paper neck, or something like that. But RoboCop goes into electricity and electrocute himself, so that fucking program fucked up, and they go in this factory fight against Kane to get revenge and take over the gang. And like I said, that scene is my badass because it's my favorite. RoboCop goes and shoots the sniper in the eye. He shots in the fucking eye. That's how he do that. Or when he does that, he doesn't even watch and shoots the bad guy. You know, he kills bad guys. He's a badass in this movie. He kills bad guys. You know, RoboCop kills bad guys, which I love that. And Kane escapes with the truck, and RoboCop goes after him, grabs, he falls down, and two motorcycle motorcycle bikers go through Kane. The rest, RoboCop grabs and goes after Kane and destroys him. In that time, Juliet Fox kills Kane and turns him into Robo-Kane. She uses his brain, and they turn into a cyborg. You know, in that time, Cyborg, because Mayor Cusack is in debt and wants to save the city for $1,100, whatever. He wants to save the city, but Hop with Angie, they escape and decide to pay off the city only so that they could manufacture drugs and continue to do nuke, because the people want to do nuke. And Angie is a drug addicted, you know, she's addicted to drugs. By that time, Robo-Kane shows up, you know, because the Omniconsult products finds out, and Juliet Fox, she sends Robo-Kane to do the dirty work, and they kill everyone, you know. Robo-Kane kills everyone, destroys the light, you know, he has a machine gun, annihilates everyone, including he shots Hop when he goes in the money in the truck, he shots him, and RoboCop finds him, and RoboCop, you know, tries, he asks who did this, and says it was bigger than you, it was Kane, you know, and RoboCop tries to save the kid cop, but he dies, you know, which is sad. And Hop says, don't leave me, and I love that by RoboCop. So people are saying that it does not have a heart. Have you not seen that scene in which that poor kid dies, you know, and RoboCop tries to help him, and Hop says, don't leave me, and RoboCop says, I won't. You know, they forgot that. That's the heart. This movie has a heart. And when they make a presentation about Robo-Kane, you know, which is RoboCop 2 now, RoboCop shows up with a gun and they both fire each other. And Juliet Fox says, and harmless, you go out here, you're obsolete, you know. I love that. You know, why can't they make movies like this? And then the battle starts fighting. They both, RoboCop and Robo-Kane, are fighting each other on the end, the finale. You know, Robo-Kane, then the cars, the SWAT, the cars are shooting on Robo-Kane. Robo-Kane blows up the cars. He blows the fucking cars to pieces. Practical effects. Not fucking CGI. They don't make practical effects like that. I want practical effects. Explosions, real explosions, not fucking CGI like was in fucking The Predator 2008. This movie eats and spits out and shits on the fucking Predator 2008. And this RoboCop 2 1990 kicks ass. This badass kicks ass, you know, underrated, you know. It still has a hair. I love that. It has gore. I love that he left his wife alone. I love that. He doesn't need a wife. He's a badass. He's a kick-ass. You know, he's a badass. He's a kick-ass. He kicks ass. He kicks so much ass that anyone else can't. You know. So yeah, I love RoboCop 2 to death. I don't care. You know. RoboCop 2 was a badass, and to the end they both fight. Robo-Kane blows up news people, you know, ambulances, paramedics. He kills them to pieces. He blows up some police cars, and he shows what he can do. you know. And RoboCop says, let's give him what he wants. So Nancy Allen gives him the nuke, and the nuke he actually used, I think, was he actually used that powerful nuke, you know, because he needed. He's addicted to drug, you know, and it's nuke. You know, addicted drug, which is different than drug. You know, they manufactured Kane and his gang, and Kane kills them. Kane killed Angie because he was pissed. She left him, you know, and he goes and blows everyone, and Nancy Allen gives him a nuke. And RoboCop stands at the tall building, and he jumps on his monster's back, you know. He jumps on monster's back, and he rips his spine off, his brains. He rips his fucking brains, you know, from that cyborg, you know. He rips his, you know, he goes and rips his brain out, smashes, lands on the floor, and smashes the ground to the pulp, and says goodbye. He destroys he destroys his fucking brain, you know. He destroys the fucking brain, and then destroys RoboCane. And there is so much damage, you know. Now the old man, played by Darlie O'Herlihy, and Johnson, which they're both in this movie, you know. Johnson says they should find somewhere. There's gonna be a lot of destruction, you know. There's gonna because they have hammers, they're gonna sue them, so they decide to make how you call it, a fall guy, someone that's actually a fall guy, and that's gonna be Juliet Fox. But Juliet Fox doesn't know, and because she's a lover from Johnson, you know, she's a lover to the old man, you know, but she does not know that they're gonna use her as a fall guy, that she's the one that she chews the brain, you know, which Johnson says she chews the brain, sir, and I love that. And they go away, and Nancy Allen says he's gonna get away, and RoboCop says, patience, Lewis, patience, we're only humans. And the movie ends, you know. Or you have two hookers, two sex babe, two hookers that punch that guy, steals him a fuck, they fucks him up in the opening scene. You know, they steal him, his drugs or whatever. They actually both, they steal him, they steal him money. He marks an old lady, and he steals her money, and those two hookers fucks him over. They punch him, they kicks him in the balls, you know, and they steal him the money, you know. They both actually steals him the money, and says you're gonna buy it for the nuke, you know, for the drug. And he says, bitches, you got my eyes off, you know. They even says bitches. And they don't swear that much in the film, you know. And maybe because Nancy Allen's haircut is different in the first one, so what? You know, she's still a badass, more badass than she was in the first movie. And RoboCop 2 gets shit nowadays, you know. I wish that I will get a movie like this. I want a movie like this. I want RoboCop 2 like this, you know. It's definitely my favorite action film of all time. I always have fun with it. I enjoy it. I enjoy it, you know. The Predator 2018 failed, you know. Shane Black and Frank Decker fucking sucked, you know. They ruined it. Frank Miller with Irvin Kershner, they did a great job, you know. Frank Miller gave us Sin City, and I love Sin City, you know. The film is bloody, you know. You can see how the gang cuts RoboCop, you know. You see heavy automatic weapons. I love when RoboCane has the machine gun, you know. They don't use that anymore. You know, he has a machine gun. RoboCop, you know, I mean RoboCane has a machine gun. RoboCop uses a different gun. You know, and you know what? You have everything different, you know. There's a lot of firepower in this movie. The action, you know. The action is so great, in my opinion. This is Irvin Kershner. It's the last film that he ever did, you know. It was the last movie that he ever did. And the characters did a good job, in my opinion, you know. It was a good job. It was Orion Pictures which they did, and RoboCop and the Terminator were both produced by companies like Orion. You know, Terminator 2 was then by Carol Contristar, but this is by Orion. You know. And yeah, I love Gabrielle Damien as Hop, and I love Angie. I love the girl so much. You know, she was so great. You know, Robert the guy, Sergeant Reed returns in this movie. You know, he's in all 3 movies, thank God. And Belinda Bauer, I love her as Dr. Juliet Parks. I love that she's Juliet Parks. You know, she's a great scientist. And I love Angie. She, the actor, I think was. The actress, I think was, I forgot the actress, what was the actress name, the actress, Garlene York, you know, or know how you pronounce her last name, but the actress, she's still on the show business, but I love her in RoboCop 2, you know, she was so great in RoboCop 2, I love her in RoboCop 2. You know, she was so great in the film. And I love RoboCop's gun, you know, Beretta 39R Auto 9. I love his gun that he's using, you know. He shoots the guy in the head who was actually, who actually held this, what's it called, this baby as a hostage. I love that, you know. RoboCop was a badass. So Nancy Allen was a badass in this movie, you know. She was a badass, you know, and RoboCop refused to shoot the kid. A kid has a gun, you know, Hop has a gun, and RoboCop refused to shoot the kid. He's not gonna kill him because he's a good guy, you know. And how you can say that? How you can say this movie has not a hair? Then you did not pay attention, or maybe you don't get it, you know. It's not maybe for you. It's not for everyone, you know. RoboCop 2 is not for everyone, you know. That's just my opinion. It's not for everyone. You know, and I love Hop using the gun, you know, Deb M21, you know, I love the design that Hop used it, you know. But yeah, there were so many firepower, bazooka, and in the open scene, RoboCop's car is blown to pieces, you know. It's blown to pieces. RoboCop's car is actually blown to pieces. There's so many automatic weapons, you know. In this film used, like AK-47 is used in this film, M16 is used in this film, so many automatic weapons, firepower, you know, shotguns, you know, and I love that this time they don't, cops are not shooting a RoboCop, they did in the first movie, I wasn't happy about it, you know. Or Pausa P-50, which is actually scoped long range, you know, it's automatic sniper rifle. It's a sniper rifle which RoboCop is using on, he's actually using a RoboCane, you know. There's so many automatic weapons used, so many action sequences to me are perfectly derived on Frank Miller and Irvin Kershner's action style. You know, there's so many action in the film. You know, it's 30 years. I love the futuristic. I love everything, you know. They just don't use, they don't make movies like this or blowing everything to pieces, you know. Or when RoboCane uses minigun, you know, M134, he's using minigun, you know, and he's killing everyone. You know, he's using a minigun at RoboCop, he's using on everyone, you know, or he has a heavily caliber cannon. And I think RoboCop uses and destroys his caliber cannon on his back. But I love that he's, I love that he uses minigun, you know. He uses minigun, which is 7.62, 0.51 millimeter long, you know. It's a device, it's the minigun, you know, when RoboCop bursts on Hobbs smithing with the mayor's where that read incinerated in the public towards the end of the movie, you know. And RoboCane, like a RoboCop 2, is the law enforcement droid that Kane brains is implanted in, is armed with several heavy weapons, you know. These are simply props during combat sequences, you know. RoboCane is either a 9-foot full-scale upper torso fitted with the fake weapons, or 12-inch tall, you know. But yeah, Rob Kane is a badass in this movie. I would say that to me, that's just me. I'm speaking to myself, not for you. But to me, I would say it's better than Ed 209. I love that originality, that's different, you know. But to me, it's Robo Kane, like a RoboCop 2 is better than Droid, you know, Ed 209. You know, I love Ed 209. I love the first one. But it's a badass, you know, this movie kicks ass. I'm gonna write it, kicks ass. Badass, kick-ass, you know, this is definitely a badass, underrated action film, ultra sci-fi action film, violent, you know. I would rather watch this kid, Hop, I watched this kid, than this motherfucker I watched last night on The Predator. I watched this kid. I watched those kids, you know. Then the son of a bitch, Jacob Tremblay, sucked so much, you know, in The Predator 2018. He sucked, I hated him. RoboCop 2, love to death, love this movie to death, you know. And what can I say? I just reviewed RoboCop 2, and yeah, I'm just going to finish here with this movie. It was directed by Irvin Kershner, and this is the last time we'll see Peter Weller and Nancy Allen. And Peter Weller, to me, is the only RoboCop, the only Alex J. Murphy. The others aren't actor material to be RoboCop, Alex J. Murphy. Peter Weller is, and I love him so much, you know. He's the only one for me, the only one, you know. And I love the weapons used in this film, and I just said how much I love this film to death. One last thing before I go. Do I think is this better than RoboCop, the original? No. But it's a damn worth sequel, a badass, kick-ass, sci-fi ultra-violent action film. It's rated R, not PG-13, not a family film like RoboShit 3, you know. But yeah, that's my movie review on RoboCop 2, underrated. I love this film to death. Thanks so much for watching. Take care. I'll talk to you in the next sequel, which is going to be a rant. But have a nice day and have a good one. Bye bye.